Okay, Papa, you are live right now. The first question, what was it like with the training when you got recruited into the Army?
Well, my training was not very difficult because your military has very good training to prepare you to go to war or go into civil obedience situations like what we got going on now here in Baltimore. So you're well trained, you know.
How old were you when you were recruited?
I believe I was 21. I think I just turned 21 years old. And I was drafted into the military. I had to go to Fort, what's the name of the area? It's in Baltimore City, which is a recruiting place. I went there to be recruited, and from there I went to Fort Bragg, South Carolina, South Carolina, for basic training. There we more or less got in shape and learned the Army way of how to do things, to be disciplined, to know how to fight in combat, to know how to go and live in the woods for a while, and went to the firing range to learn how to shoot your weapons. And at that time, we were trained on an M14. Of course, when I went to Vietnam, they had a more Marvin rifle, which was the M12. It holds more rounds than the M14.
How was your experience when you first got to the battlefield?
Oh, okay. Well, when I first landed in country, which is in Vietnam, I was in Bien Hoa, which is one of the locations where they would bring the American soldiers into Vietnam, and also they would go back to the United States. And they had two locations that I was familiar with. They had Tonsanute, and that was actually, Tonsanute was an area where they had more traffic, meaning planes coming in and out there than they had anywhere in the world. Even more traffic there than they had in Chicago. I believe it was O'Hare Airport, and that was one of the most busiest airports. But in Vietnam, they had more traffic there than anywhere in the world. It was a day when you gained a day when you arrived there. And I believe we flew for 23 hours. And upon arriving in Vietnam, it was like around 5 o'clock in the morning. Stops. One was in Japan. We stopped in state of Washington before we left here. And there was another location we stopped in. I can't think right now, of course. But we did make 3 stops.
It's
only
okay.
to refill, because the destination from where we started from was just too far to not to refuel the airplanes. And like I said, when I got in country, it was like around 5 o'clock in the morning, and right away we went right to the mess hall. And it kind of frightened me, Corey, because when I arrived in the country, all you heard was a bunch of bombs going off, man. You know what I mean? I'm 21 years old, and I'm not used to this kind of noise, And it was kind of frightening. But when you kind of get around to the soldiers, they kind of tell you what's going on. And you're going to continue to hear it as long as you're there. So eventually, you kind of get used to the noise, the bombs all day, all night, and looking at the traces running across the sky, where it lights up at night because of so much firepower going off. They have those big 165 howitzers, real big bombs, and then you had the other ammunition that was going off, So, yeah, it was quite an experience. I was very frightened. Eventually, I got used to it, like most people do, or like say 95% of us got used to it because it was all the way around you, so you couldn't avoid it. So eventually, you kind of adapted it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
when you got back from Vietnam, did you feel like it changed your life completely the moment you left?
Yeah, I tell you, when I left, I was a different person. When I come back, I had a different attitude because I had grew up there, you know, and I don't talk too much about it, you know.
Oh, it's okay. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry
Yeah,
about that.
because I hope you can feel me now, you know.
I can
kind of get
feel
fed
you.
up when I talk about it, you know.
I know it's really hard, especially a war like this that never should happen in the first place, and I'm really sorry
And
for that.
you probably can hear it in my voice, you know.
I can hear it.
I'm still filled up from it and haven't gotten over it, you know. So it's tough, you know. War is tough, and for anyone to be coming back, you know, you have to readjust. And when we came back, we weren't able to adjust because people didn't like the war. So we was called murderers and criminals, and you know. Whereas when the recent wars took place and they came home, the difference when they arrived back to in the country, they were treated as heroes, which they were, you know. But we were just the opposite, you know. So yeah, it's tough and something you have to readjust to, and you do it on your own. But now VA is kind of helping these guys come back to adjust to the world, you know, because while you're there, you know, you're murdering people. War is not fun. People die. People get shot. Your buddies get shot, you know. So it's terrible, you know. So it was quite an experience. So did I learn a lot? Yeah, I learned quite a bit. And I don't want to go through it again, but I'm glad it's over.
All right. Thank you. This is the last question I wanted to ask you. When you were recruited into the war, were you forced to be a part of it, or did you decide to join for independence for your country?
Well, at the time, I thought I was doing something for my country, but once I got there and talking to people and reading the paper, then I found that it was a unjust war because we had no business being over there, you know, and
Right.
just like the most recent war we're dealing with now, you know, it was all a lie, you know, and in most cases that's how wars are, you know. It's, they want to go in these countries and dictate to them for some reason, you know. You know, I'm talking about recent wars. I'm not talking about World War I, World War II. When I'm talking about the recent wars, you know, they are inexcusable, you know. And we have too many young men that go fight for this country, and when they come back, they are messed up in their head and physically too, you know. Right now, I volunteered in VA. I'm retired, and I volunteered in 2 days at the hospital, you know. And you see these guys in there, you know. It's just not fun to look at, you know. And when you look at the way they are, and you look at yourself, you say, oh, wow, I was lucky. So I count myself very lucky. I came back home. I didn't have any injuries, you know. I saw a lot, and it changed me a lot, but still I came back in a lot better shape than these guys coming back home now. They're missing legs, eyes. It's just horrible, you know. So war is no fun. It's one of the worst things that man can engage in, you know. Yet and still we have wars all over the world, you know. So
I could
yeah,
understand that, even though it was really tough for you all the moment you guys came back from the war, and after realizing that, you know, violence wasn't really the answer. But I know in your heart, though, you thought violence wasn't really your answer, and I could understand that right now.
Yeah, well, violence is never the answer, you know. That's one thing I like about this present president we have. He's not quick to send troops, all over the world to get into a lot of disputes. He's willing to talk. Violence doesn't end nothing. It just frustrates people and make them more harder in their ways. And one look to claim victory, and there's really no victory at all in that. The disagreements or the arguments between the countries, they haven't been resolved. They're still going on. So one that has the most firepower, they will dominate the results of the war, and they're going to get their way. So it's pretty tough.
Well, that's it for questions. Thank you so much for interviewing with me. I really appreciated talking about the Vietnam War. I know it's really tough for you, and I'm really sorry for that and for what happened back then. I mean, if there was one thing that time could rewind, it's possibly this war, because I thought that this war was like a complete nonsense in reality. But wars like these shouldn't really happen. And I think to you, I know you're a good man, Papa, and everything, and I know you didn't really deserve to put yourself into that position where you had to come in and had to come into a country where it's full of communism and everything. And I thought that was wrong, and I really still think this is wrong right now, what we're facing within this world. And I just really like to thank you for sparing some of your time with me for this interview. I really appreciate it. You are a really great person. Thank you so much for this interview.
Well, I'm really glad you called and asked me about that, and I'm glad to do the interview, and I hope you got all the information that you need from it. But I would like to add one more footnote to this interview. This was when Muhammad Ali, at the time his name was Cassius Clay, but he changed his name to Muhammad Ali, and he refused to go fight. He said, Vietnamese ain't enough to me, and he was one of a few brave Americans that stood up against it, So kudos to him. All right, Cole.
All right, well, thank you so much, and I will call you guys later on. And thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
All right. See you later.
All right, I love you.
Okay, same here, Cole.
All right. Bye.